Hi, educators, and welcome back to Handy Dandy Educator. In today's video, we're going to talk about how to deal with mean people at work. Very simple. You just tell them, shut the f up. I'm just kidding, y'all. Do not do that. Do not say that. That is very mean, very rude. While you may think it in your head. Please do not let that come out your mouth because we're professional, right? We're professional at school, at work, and plus, just because of our character, we're not going to speak that way. There's other ways to say, I don't like what you're doing, I don't like what you're saying, without cursing someone out. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to remember our why, remember our purpose for being at the school, and we're going to hold, again, that word, some decorum. We're going to make sure that we try our best to handle these hard situations at work or wherever, to be honest, that we handle these situations in a way so that one, we don't regret what we did or said after the situation, and two, we don't get ourselves or the situation doesn't get us out of character. And a lot of times we deal with these tough situations, and they're tough because one, someone has said or done something to you that either you didn't like, found offensive, it attacked your character, it was accusatory, whatever it may be. And so we tend to get defensive. And sometimes, if you get so worked up in the moment and you don't take the time to think about what is going on, one, take a pause and just breathe for a few seconds. Think about what is going on, and if you at that moment, in that moment, are prepared to respond appropriately or as appropriate as you possibly could to the situation. And that's the thing, we have to be able to identify when we are able to respond to certain situations and the times that we need to take a minute, reflect, and come back to address the situation. And there are ways to do both appropriately, especially in the workplace. Because one, we don't have time to lose jobs. Two, we don't have time to let these simple situations mess up our history. So all the good that you've done goes down the drain because of this certain situation or these situations that tend to make you come out of character. We don't have time for that. And also, some people let these situations go as far as them losing their jobs. Now, I understand that everybody's financial situation is different, but even if you don't want to respond appropriately to hard situations because of your character and because you just simply and care, you're nice, you're kind, and you care about people, then maybe think about the financial aspect. Do you really want to lose your job? Do you really want that bad track, that bad record to follow you to another job if you do have to work? Either way, these situations are going to happen. There's no way around it. It's a life, but it's how you deal with the situation. And honestly, there are not a lot of times where I had to deal with super tough situations to the point where I feel like I have to take a moment to think about it and then respond, or maybe I should say personal situations. But there are many situations that do happen throughout the day where I have to be quick, a quick thinker, a quick responder. And so, personally, I do have to think about the times where maybe there's a lot going on in the workplace, and I need to simply take a moment to think and come back to the situation at a later time if I can. Another thing, and I probably should have said this first, but another thing to think about, or that I think about, is because I'm a believer, there's just certain things that I'm just not going to do. Now, I am human. I am of the flesh, and we make mistakes. But because of my background, my upbringing, there are just certain morals and values that I have, and there's just certain things that I just would not do regardless of how I feel. And so we can't be of the world, regardless of the situation, whether you're right or wrong. You can be as right can be, but that doesn't mean you get to attack someone, put someone down, and speak negatively on someone just to prove a point. We can't act like that as believers, as Christians. We just can't do it. And we make mistakes. And if you do make a mistake, then we need to be grown enough to say, I'm sorry. I was wrong. I'm sorry that I did XYZ. We're not children. We can't give that. You know how children, when you tell a child to say I'm sorry or to apologize for doing something, and they whisper, hold their head down and whisper, almost, you might as well say mumble, I'm sorry. First of all, speak up. Second of all, sorry for what? Now, that's expected for a child, but as an adult, speak up. If you're wrong, you're wrong, and that's okay. And honestly, you'll feel a lot better if you go ahead and admit that and apologize and get that off of your conscience and leave it in the past. Now, what that person does with that situation, whether they get over the situation or not, that's up to them. That's between them and themselves, their family, God, or whatever or whoever they believe in. But as far as you, don't do that to yourself. Don't hold on to that negative stuff. Deal with it and let it be. Now, what if there's a situation or someone at work or people at work who are just mean? You don't know why. You don't think you've done anything to them. How do you deal with those people? Well, one, you have to identify, when are you being bothered, or when do you feel bothered? When do you feel triggered? You have to identify that feeling. Two, you're going to have to set some boundaries. What is it you're not liking? What is your desire? What would you like to be the outcome? And then you're going to have to figure out, what do I have to do to make this happen? Now, another thing is, if you're working in a school, I just don't see how you have that much time to encounter so many problems. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't happen, because I know I can hear y'all right now like, yes, I know it happens. I know that. But this shouldn't be going on. There is so much that goes on at the school with the children. They need so much attention. How do we have the time to have these type of situations with coworkers? How? We need to pour all of that energy into the children, let alone the families, the parents. So this isn't just about coworkers. What if you're dealing with a parent who is, I don't want to call them hard, but a challenging parent? What do you do? I think that we have to be understanding that these parents, we don't know where they live, where they're going. Did they just get off from work? Are they tired? We don't know what's going on. And yes, we are people too, and yes, we're tired as well. But these parents, especially if you're working in a low income area, a low income school, you just got to think about your demographics and who you're working with. And even if it's not low income, every family, every person has their challenges. And so, as the professional in a school, there are going to be some families or some parents who are a bit challenging at times. And it could seem like they're just out to get you, but they're probably not. 9 times out of 10, they're probably not. Those are other times where we're going to have to take a minute to think about our why. And the main goal is that that parent cares about their child just as much as you care about that child. And so the main goal should be to do whatever needs to be done to make sure that that child is successful. And so sometimes it's just going to have to take us understanding that these families are going through a lot, and we're going to have to ignore the negative so that we can get to the main goal, which is supporting the child and the family. Whether that's teaching in a classroom, and I already know with homework, that's a big controversial situation because we have some people who believe in giving homework and some people who don't. The people who don't believe in giving homework is because they say it takes away from being able to do things at home as a family, yada, yada, yada. And then the people who believe in giving homework, they want to have the family engaged and know what's going on in the school. But the downfall of giving homework could be that, well, there's some parents who are not going to be at home. They're going to be at work. The children don't stay at home or at home with their parents when they go home and they have to do homework, or they're at home with grandparents or someone who may not be able to help them with homework. Either way, there's going to be pros and cons to both sides. But the main goal should be to do whatever helps the family. And if you have that child, because every classroom is going to have that child, probably a few of them, who just never had their homework, sometimes it's going to take going a little bit deeper and just opening our eyes a bit more and giving grace, the same grace that we want given to us when we don't have our attendance done on time, right? So we're going to have to give that grace. And maybe that child didn't do their homework because they didn't stay at home. Maybe that child didn't do their homework because the lights were out. Maybe that child didn't do their homework because they were busy taking care of a younger sibling. There could be a lot of things, a lot of different factors as to why someone is having a challenging time, and then they're giving you what we would call a problem or being a problem for you. They're being problematic. There's so many things that go on with individuals, whether it's parents, co-workers, students. There's just so much on the inside that we don't see. And that's why at the end of the day, if you're dealing with someone who is being mean at work, just remember your why, your purpose, who you are. Take a moment if you need to take a moment. Learn to identify where you are with your feelings and know when to respond, when to be slow to respond, and when to take a moment and then come back to the situation. I hope that this video was helpful. In the comment section, let me know if there is a situation that you had to deal with and you found yourself getting a little bit too involved, more than you should have emotionally. Let us know if you have some tips of dealing with mean people at the workplace, whether it's at a school, at a hospital, a nursing home, wherever. No matter where you work, at some point, you're going to have to work with a challenging person. Because we're all different. We're human. No one person is the exact same. Think about it. Even your siblings, and I know I was closing out, but even your siblings in the home, if you had siblings growing up, you're not the same. You may be of the same mom and dad, but you are not the exact same. And because of that, you think differently. You look different. You're different. You're individuals. And so naturally, you're not going to agree on every single thing. So it's not what you say or what you do, but the how. So I hope this was helpful. Please let me know if there's anything specific that you would like for me to speak about in the next video. Let's chat it up, y'all. Let's learn from one another. And if you're listening to this video in the morning, have a great day. If you're listening to this video at night, rest your body, rest your mind, get some good rest. It's all going to figure itself out. We're going to have a great weekend and we're going to have a great week. All right. Thank you all for listening. Take care.